welcome. Long time no see, everyone. It has been way too long since I talked to most of you. I am so sorry. But I am in med school. I'm sorry. That's really my only excuse, was that I have just been busy. Quite honestly, it came down to priorities, so I just didn't have time. Honestly, I have about 10 videos between now and 6 weeks ago when I last talked to you guys. And they just, I don't know, they were like, okay, wasn't happening. So anyways, just to catch you guys up, so we are currently, as of right now, November 29th, we just started Unit 3 in med school. So that means that I have taken a whole set of exams since I last talked to anyone, and we just got back from holiday break. We just started a brand new unit. After Unit 2, after these exams that we just finished, they kind of let most of the first years off the leash a little bit, so now we can join clubs, we can do a lot more things. A suture thing I'm going to tomorrow, and with some ED physicians are teaching us how to do some like cool sutures. That's awesome. I'm going to a research interest meeting. I've been striking out on the research realm, so hopefully I get something fruitful from this meeting tomorrow, because that's kind of hard. That's frustrating, honestly, when you get a lot of no's and whatever. Anyways, for now, I have tons to talk to you guys about, but rather than just fit this all into like a 20-minute video and get people checking out after a few minutes, I'll talk about like my Unit 2 on Sunday. I'll talk to you guys about what Unit 3 is about, because a lot of cool, exciting things. This tends to be people's favorite chapter or unit from what I've heard, so hopefully that's the case for me. Okay, so just to bring everybody up to speed, last time I did the vlog, I think I had a little bit of ortho that we had just started to kind of talk about, but primarily I had just seen derm. The first like week and a half of this unit, or of Unit 2, now that we've just moved on, was all derm, and I was so excited. I was thriving. Our first case study was psoriasis, and it involved, some biologics. I was thriving. That did not last long. It switched over to ortho, like cartilage and tendons and ligaments and bone repair and chondrocytes and osteoblasts in class, and then all the bone development. So it was just all that the rest of the unit. So not my cup of tea. It was a tough unit for me. It was tough material. It was not, I was trying to trick myself to get invested. I just was not super into the content. Structures, my anatomy lab with the cadavers, that got really, really hard, which I had been warned multiple times for weeks leading up to the exam. It still was hard, which I will talk to you guys about in a little bit. And then other than that, the unit was just a lot. Okay, so now let's talk about the thing I've been dying to get off my chest, these exams. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how intense these exams were this time. This was, if not the most, a very close second behind the MCAT. That was stressful too, but this was right there. This, I think, is because it's 2 months of materials onto 3 days of exams. Just to kind of give you guys the quick rundown again, real fast, that there's 3 days. That Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That Monday is basically a test over all the lectures, and that's like the bulk, the most heavy amount of material. The bulk of the material goes on to that Monday. And then there's the second day, you get like an hour time slot. That's like you get a fake patient simulation, and then you get, you have to do OMT, osteopathic manipulative treatment, on a partner. So it's like 30 minutes about, roughly. And then the third day is structures, the cadaver. So anatomy, you get in the cadaver, structures are tagged. You have to like know your stuff to even think through those questions. So super intense, right? Let's start with that Monday. So I felt probably the least confident about this. What happened was, with this unit, the material got actually kind of tough. Not only is it just a lot of material, some of it was just kind of hard to keep straight for me for some reason, and I don't know if I let it get away from me or if it was pretty cumulative actually. So I think what happened was that I just did not grasp an earlier lecture as well, and then it kind of just builds and builds, and then all of a sudden you're confused and you don't know why. So anyway, so I realized that, I addressed that, that's fine and whatnot, but I was still probably the most nervous because there was such a huge amount of information on this test. I felt comfortable enough to be able to answer anything to some extent, So anyway, so I was just praying for a miracle, and it was fine. It was a very, very long, it was a hard test, but I felt pretty comfortable with my answers. There was a multiple choice section on the exam this time that is new. That was not there last time. So there was 3 sets. So that Monday it was like hour and a half, hour and a half, hour and a half. or something like that. And so the third set was all multiple choice, board style questions. And those scores just for that particular exam were released, and I did very well. I was so impressed with myself. We took like a poll in our class that was just like anonymously report your score. And I did well, I'll just say that. I was very happy with myself. I walked out Monday feeling like a hot shot. I was like, holy cow, I did that. I just did that. You guys I cannot even begin to explain to you guys like how in my head I got. At the beginning of med school, I don't want to say it was cockiness, but I just did not think I was gonna have imposter syndrome. I was like, that is not gonna be me. I've always been like a go-getter. I worked super hard. I was like, I deserve to be here. This spot is mine. I worked my ass off for it. I will never have imposter syndrome. I was so having it at the end of unit 2. I was like, I cannot, you know? I truly thought that I was like, whatever. So these are my own inner demons. Unless I am exceptional at something, I sometimes tell myself I'm not good enough. And I think that's what was happening with unit 2. That started to happen with unit 1. I felt like I wasn't good enough with some things, and then I got in my own head, so whatever. Okay, to get off that little tangent there, to bring it back in, Monday I felt good. Okay, so then let's talk about Tuesday. So Tuesday is the clinical skills day. So it's like the 1 hour time slot you get assigned. You get like a fake patient, and then you get you have to do OMM on one of your classmates. So I was assigned a time slot bright and early, so hallelujah. I was so happy because waking up early, going there, just doing this 1 hour time slot exam, going home, and then you can study the rest of the day for the Wednesday. So my patient encounter, so with unit 2, primarily the focus was lower extremities, like physical exam tests of the lower extremities, specifically the hip and then the knee and the ankle and the foot, all the actions of muscles, intra-articular, or is this like, you know, something cartilage, or is this muscle? So anyways, there's all these different tests that you can employ to kind of figure out a diagnosis. So we learned all of those. So our patient simulations were all randomly assigned just these special tests. So when we go see the patient, we do like an HPI. One of the things that were expected of us in unit 2 was now like a medication history. So we learned a lot about medications. So that was also thrown into it. All of our patients were on different meds, so we needed to be able to address that. You have to do some sort of physical exam, and it's assigned to us. That's the way that these exams worked. So there were all these like 10 of the 12 randomized patients were musculoskeletal. You walk in and you just get assigned one, that's all. So, but there's like 12 going on at once. So 10 of them were musculoskeletal, 2 of them were derm related. So the very beginning of this unit was about the skin and whatnot. So obviously, whoever knows me, you can guess which one I wanted. I can't really say exactly what I got. We're bound by contract. We can't say, you know, anything specific details wise. But anyway, so you randomly assigned patients. Let's just say I was not mad with the one that I got. I was so happy. I was very confident about what was asked of me. I was confident with the way that the bedside manner was, and I was confident with my answers. And we have to document the whole thing right after. I was confident with that too. So then the OMM part, that went well. That one is always just hit or miss. I'm always just crossing my fingers. Like I feel pretty good with my hands-on skills most of the time, but it is really, you go in there and you have 12 minutes, you open up a folder, read it, and do what's asked of you. You know, we learn probably somewhere like between 50 and 20 testable concepts throughout each unit. We're just tested on one of them at random. You never know what to expect for that docs exam. You're just hoping that you get an easy one. And I will just say that I was very confident with mine too. So I'm walking out day 2, great. I'm so shook because I cannot express to you guys how mentally tasking and challenging this unit was. Like, it really did a number on my mental health. Unit 2 really stressed me out. And it really took a lot out of me. So I'm walking out now day 2 being like, I have just felt so confident after day 1. I feel so confident after day 2. Like, what the hell's wrong with me? You know what I mean? Like, if I could just remind myself how I'm feeling in those moments, thank you, God. Now let's talk about day 3. It is going to be the recurring theme that structures the cadavers anatomy lab. Day 3 of these exams is always the hardest day. You guys are gonna hear me say that for all 8 units, because that is the truth. Oh my goodness, this was the toughest exam I've ever taken in my life. Harder than the MCAT. It was intense. I just could not. Some of them were so intense. What? I don't know. So anyways, okay, so to give you guys an example, it's so we learned all the muscles, for example, in the legs. Now, when you learn the muscle of the leg, you need to learn, okay, but what is the action of that muscle? Does it move your leg this way, that way, blah, blah, blah? And then what blood is being carried through that muscle? What nerve tells that muscle to move? Basically, they just really make sure you are on your game. You do not have time. If you do not know something, you do not have time to answer. So it's a minute and a half, and then the buzzer goes off, and then you move to the next question. A minute and a half, and then you move to the next question, a minute and a half. It's definitely intimidating. I will say that I think everything on these exams that we've been given is fair. People will argue with me on that. I'm like, it's med school. Like, what do you guys expect? So that was unit 2. You know, I heard a lot of horrible things about it. I feel like I did well. I think. So we'll see. I find out next week, but I feel like I did pretty well. I was definitely confident on 2 of the days. The structures day, oh well, whatever happens, happens at this point, right? That's unit 2, over and done with. It is in the past. I'm moving on to the next unit. I'll wait to tell you guys about that until this weekend, but I'm super excited. It seems like some cool stuff. Also, now we're at the point in the year where first years, we are now allowed to join clubs. So a lot of cool things that I can start getting involved with now. Tomorrow I'm doing like some suture lab. I'm learning how to put on sutures on people and stuff. Like, you know, fake skin probably. But anyway, so I'm super excited for that. I'm going to some research meetings, so hopefully that will be fruitful. I've run into a lot of dead ends with that, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, that is everything though. I appreciate you guys. Med school is going. I am doing great. It was hard. It's got its ups and downs, which I've felt tons of in 4 months. But anyways, stay with me. Next week, I'll let you guys know what's going on with Unit 3. And then hopefully I'll tell you guys about my Thanksgiving break too. I got to see my family, my boyfriend's family. It was just so amazing. I will check you guys later. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.